Hey friends, it's Justin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to share with you that I have been invited to guest design for Trinity Stamps for the month of April and also participate in their YouTube release hop. So I've got some fun inspiration to share with you today using some brand new products along with details below as for how you can hop along and also enter to win a $25 Trinity Stamps gift card. Now, today's project is a super fun 3D card using the new A2 window box card die set, the Gashapon Machine Die Set, the Stuffies Stamp Set with coordinating dies, along with the capsule cluster embellishment set as well. So we're going to use all of these together to put together just this adorable card. I did go ahead and select a color palette in advance, so I'm going to be using like a plum purple, a peacock teal, a standard blue, and a standard red, along with a light blue color as well as a dark and light gray color to put everything together for today's project. Now we're going to start by using the base of the A2 box with window card die set, and we are going to just die cut this panel directly from that peacock teal cardstock that I had mentioned previously. I'm also going to die cut this little panel as well, which lets you add some internal elements to your box card to give them the appropriate dimension. I end up not using that little bar just because it doesn't end up working for my final card, but I do use the full size window panel, and we're going to die cut a second one of these right now for our box card, as you do need to fully complete the process. However, this one is going to be just a little bit different. So after I tack down the main body of my box card, there are also these window inserts that are going to help die cut window openings in each of those designated square and rectangular areas. And all you do is you take those dies, put them inside of their respective shape, and then tack it down with a little bit of mint tape. With those window pieces nice and secured, you're then going to be able to process this entire panel through your die cutting machine, and it's going to cut out those windows perfectly. So here you can see one of the panels with the windows cut out and one of them that's entirely solid, both of which are entirely necessary to put our project together. Now, I did also go ahead and die cut all the little embellishments from the paper I showed previously, and we're going to use this to decorate and put together our box card so it's got all of the little elements needed to put everything together. I am going to start by assembling the different items and just sort of giving you a brief introduction as to how this goes. However, first I do want to do a little bit of ink blending for our box card, so I'm going to go in with some Loch Ness Stellar ink and ink blend the edges of the face portion of the box card and the side that it's attached to. So I've gone and used some 4-inch mint tape just to sort of mask off the box card so that I'm not blending onto the adjacent side. And when I'm done with my face, I'm able to use that 4-inch piece and just sort of reposition it to then ink blend the side panel that's attached to it. And here you go. I'm going to do a good old peel reveal, and it shows you how much you can transform your paper by just doing a little bit of extra ink blending to it. Now we do need to begin to adhere together the little elements that are going to make this look like the Gashapon machine is intended to. So we're going to start by getting the main panel for the control ready for the handle and the button for the machine. Now just a little bit of a side story. I was so excited when I got a little bit of a sneak peek of this die set because I was lucky enough to go to Japan last summer, and let me tell you, these Gashapon machines are everywhere and they are so much fun. They have so many fun little prizes that you can win from them. Really, when I say so many, it is beyond what you could even find in the United States. I remember being younger and going to just various sort of clothing stores or restaurants that would have little capsule machines, and they would maybe have 2 or 3. They literally have like stores inside of a mall space dedicated to just these Gashapon machines, and you can just go there and have so much fun. I love that Trinity Stamps came out with a set like this because it's so much fun and gives me so many good memories of that trip. If y'all haven't thought about going to Japan on vacation, I tell you, it was one of the best places I've ever been, and this die set just gives me all of those vibes. Now, bringing it back to the assembly of this die set, there are lots of different ways that you can put this together, and it's not necessarily intended to just be used as a Gashapon machine. There are elements with the add-on with that you are able to do sort of a claw machine function, which we are going to utilize today. Traditionally, when I was in Japan, claw machines are very different than the Gashapon machines, but I am going to have essentially a hybrid Gashapon claw machine that's going to be used together. You can do, like I said, whatever you want, whatever makes the most sense to you. There are so many ways to really play around with these different die sets to customize them for the type of project that fits best for you. So I'm just making sure to get each of the core elements into place, really playing around with the color palette that I selected previously. I am loving how all of these colors are working together. I'm even introducing things like yellow for the lights. You could do non-yellow lights. You could do whatever color lights you really want. I just thought if I chose something that was like red or too bright that it might be too alarming. And there are enough little elements with this card that you see my hair sort of peek in throughout this video, just because I want to make sure that I'm getting these elements directly where they need to be. Now, some of these elements are a little on the smaller side, and that's a-okay. That just means you're adding those important small details to your project. However, this is definitely a die set that I would recommend getting yourself a pair of craft tweezers to work with so that you can hold things in place appropriately, and even utilize the craft tweezers to put a little bit of extra pressure to make sure that your adhesive is transferring appropriately and keeping the units together. So I'm getting the claw for my machine all assembled, and I love all of the different little elements for this card and how they look. It really brings me so much joy and so much nostalgia, just because I was such a sucker for these claw machines as a kid. So I love to buy crafting products that give me those good sort of memory vibes like this one does. So I'm just making sure that all of my elements are getting adhered into place. I do put a piece of acetate behind the opening of the window just to give the card a little bit more of that intended window effect that a Gashapon machine would have. And I'm going to adhere the different elements that are going to be more behind the scenes and layered appropriately to ensure that the elements are all coming together to make this look like it's an actual claw machine, or a claw machine that would dispense Gashapon, however we want to call it. So I'm getting the little claw and the cord function all put into place. Like I said, those tweezers definitely come in handy for making sure that the elements are appropriately placed. I flip my card over and just see how everything is nice and lined up. And then I'm going to put that joystick on the console board as well. And that's going to be sort of the last main element of the front side of our card to put everything together. Now, I do use a bone folder to reinforce those scored lines that the box card A2 die set does impress into the card, and I'm just making sure that I get those nice crease marks because this is going to help when I'm doing the assembly of the box card to ensure that my card can fold nicely. I'm also going to put a light blue panel on the inside of my card to help cover up the window that's going to be on the side. And lastly, before we actually assemble our box card, we're going to go and put those little capsules together that I had mentioned. So what it is you're going to have a main circle piece, and it's going to serve as sort of a background and outline for your little capsule. And then you're going to take the piece that's got the little circle that's removed from it, and it's kind of like a half circle, and this is going to be one of the caps. And then you got to utilize the different body portions that are not clear. So you're going to have like a dark paper that's going to go right up against the cap, a slightly lighter color that's going to then be like the ring that's going to go around the capsule. And then there's the body of the capsule, which is sort of between the two colors that came before it. So I used a dark purple for the dark color, a coral for the light color, and then for the body, just a standard red color. And I love how all of them came together. Now I do need to assemble and put these into place inside of my machine. I'm going to have my claw actually holding one of the capsules, and then I'm going to arrange the other three inside, sort of on the bottom, waiting to be selected by somebody else. So I'm going to arrange them to make sure that they're not all just looking like they're laying in the same direction. I really want them to look jostled around. And then once I have those all adhered into place, we can then put our book card together. Well, at least I thought we could. Then I decided that I wanted to add a backer piece to our capsules just to give them a little bit more of a window effect. So I do trim down a piece of that light blue cardstock, blend it then with some Clear Sky Stellar ink, and then I'm going to adhere this to go directly behind the elements in our window so that it looks like this is the back of the machine. I didn't want to use that teal color of the box card as the background. I wanted to give it a different color and really make it pop. So I'm going to use some liquid adhesive on the different folds of our card so that we can be able to assemble this together to get that box card sort of feature. So the adhesive is going onto the thin scored area, and what I'm going to do is just line up the edges of one of the areas, making sure everything is nice and adhered. And then once I'm happy with the first side, I am going to utilize the second scored edge, put some liquid adhesive on that, make sure everything is lined up, and apply some pressure to make it nice and attached. Now, when I'm done with that, I'm going to use the Stuffies Stamp Set, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment that says I'd spend all of my quarters on you. I'm going to use an embossing tool on my blue paper, and then we are going to stamp out the sentiment in some embossing watermark ink. One of my favorite things to do on projects is to put my sentiment on a dark cardstock, but embossed in a white embossing powder, just because I think it gives it a really nice pop, and I figured that that would be a really fun way to utilize the sentiment, especially because the Stuffies Stamp Set comes with a coordinating die set that includes the sentiments. So I just knew this was going to be the right way to go. So after my sentiment is all heat embossed and set, and of course giving it a couple seconds to sort of dry, I'm just going to buff out the embossing anti-static powder, and then we will go ahead and use the coordinating die set for the Stuffies Stamp Set just to ensure that we get a nice clean cut around that sentiment. So once it's nicely in place, I'll go ahead, tack it down with some mint tape, and then put some coordinating foam strips that are just thin enough to go behind it once it's all cut out so that we can pop it onto our card. Now, I did decide to rotate my sentiment 90 degrees than how I would usually put it. I just think it really works for this card being a box card to go on that side, because once it's popped and put into the 3D sort of portion that you can utilize it for, I just think it works so well. Now, we have to use some of these capsule cluster embellishments as well, and I'm just going to use two of the red ones to paste on the bottom of the machine to give the look that it's sort of popped out and is just kind of chilling on the ground. I think that these are the most perfect embellishments for the stamp set. I don't think Trinity could have knocked it out of the park anymore, and I had so much fun playing with them. Now, I do go in and add a couple bits of gel pen embellishments on camera, and then off camera, I do add a little bit more. You'll see that in the final project image. I just think it really makes those sort of metal and plastic looking elements pop. And with that being said, we have our Gashapon box card all completed. I think that this is just the most fun little project. I had so much fun putting this together, getting all the little pieces put together to make this final item, and I know you're going to have fun with it too. Now, don't forget, this video today is part of the April Release YouTube hop. So if you haven't yet already, go down to the description, find the playlist for today's release hop, and hop along with all the fantastic designers. We also have an opportunity for you to enter to win a Trinity Stamps $25 gift card as well. I do have all of the products used today linked down below for your shopping convenience. If any of the items I used today inspired you to go on a little shopping spree of your own, I'd love and appreciate if you utilize those links. And lastly, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on socials for all the crafty inspiration. Thanks for hopping along with us today, and happy crafting.